everybody. Thank you for tuning in to Dad is a Noun. I have a great guest with me. I have history with this guy. This guy is awesome. I've been following him since the beginning. He is the creator, the founder of the awesome children cartoon series Bino and Fino. Adamu Waziri, thank you for joining with me, man. How you doing, brother?
I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, pleasure to be on. Let's get it on. Let's do this.
All right, how have your family been since the COVID? How's it been over there? How's everything over there? Because like what I've heard, for information wise, is that in Africa they're kind of ahead of the curve when it comes to coronavirus. So how's it been over there in Nigeria for you?
Actually, I'm not in Nigeria right now.
Oh, where are you?
Yeah, I got locked out because I was kind of outside in the UK
Okay.
when the travel restrictions hit. So Nigeria went on full lockdown. So you couldn't fly in.
Wow.
And then I now had to go to Germany because we were kind of like in transit when the whole COVID thing hit. My whole family, we were like crisscrossing paths and we're doing work and business.
Right.
So we just got taken out like midstream. So but yeah, Nigeria, I mean my family there, my parents are there, my brother's there right now. He also works in the company as well. So I would say that it's yeah, speaking my interruptions, hold on. Here's my daughter. 1 second, hold on.
Okay.
Now watch me do my zonto.
Man, it's a multitask thing, man. You're a
Yeah,
father.
exactly. I mean, she's a bit shy. She'd probably come on camera, but she's a bit shy, so she's probably gonna come up right now.
She's gonna be ready for camera time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so as I was saying, I think in Nigeria, I say the situation is kind of so-so.
Okay.
And I think different countries in Africa are handling the situation differently. So I think we kind of, once we locked down, it kind of stopped things, like help stop things, and then keep it under control because it was getting kind of out of hand.
Yeah.
So, and you know how it was, a lot of like governments had to react quite quickly to this.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we're doing okay. I mean, there's challenge. Let me just leave it this way. There's challenges right now. So it is quite tough. I'm not gonna lie about that. It is quite tough. A lot of people as well, especially like lower income bracket.
Yes.
A lot of measures that they had to put in were quite tough. So see you guys later. Okay, so they are quite tough. So yeah. I think it's a mixed bag. I think probably similar to the US in a weird kind of way. I mean, some people are really feeling it hard, and then some people aren't. So that's my best estimation of it.
Right. And I think that's the one thing too. Is it depends on economic status too. Like if you're underprivileged, you're gonna get a lot more because you don't have like a local hospital to go to, or if the hospital may not have the resources. So you're kind of in a cash 20.
Yeah. Or if you're like, living day by day and, like they suddenly tell you like you got to stop working because of a lockdown.
Right.
Literally you're expecting payment. You got to go out the next day to make that money to survive. And all of a sudden, boom.
And it hits you.
And then there's no kind of like, it's tough. I mean, it's tougher back home because of ways of distribution of income and like I think in the US, I've been watching, Europe and other countries, there are more systems there where you can kind of like push money back to people to help them out. Whereas back home, it's tougher.
It's a little bit of struggle. But also when it comes to the with the virus, has it affected production of the cartoon?
It did. It has, and it did. But I mean, when we get into detail later on, I think we already established a remote way of working about 2 years ago because we were facing some challenges in production. So we had to work out a different way of working. So when this hit, it did hit some of our production teams, like in Lagos and in Jos and whatever, but they, yeah, let's say we were 80% there already.
Right.
So we now had to do the next 20% just to readjust from
Right.
a production standpoint.
Right.
From a client standpoint, especially like our B2B business, we lost quite a few, like, let's say, in-flight entertainment.
Right.
Gone.
Wow.
Obviously, because no one's flying.
Right.
You know, stuff like that, where investment's gonna come from and things like that. But yeah, but production itself, we had to, yeah, we're okay. We're okay compared to other people. We're okay.
And that's the cool thing.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing too, is that learning to adapt. Some people who create, they don't know how to adapt to situations. And what I've learned, what you guys done, is that you were able to adapt to the situation. Because initially, at the end of the day, you have a small team anyway, so it kind of didn't hurt you anyway compared to a company that hired like 1,000 people. And
exactly,
you don't have revenue streaming coming in. It's hard to pay people.
Yeah.
When those resources is not available due to the virus.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it was still tough for us actually to still pay revenue,
right?
Pay salaries and stuff like that, or let's say, but yeah, I think we were quite flexible, and I think we're quite used to disasters or challenges, so we kind of have that in mind, kind of have like a buffer,
right?
Just because of past, events. So we always have like about maybe a month or two worth of production capability in the system in case if a shock hits.
Right.
So yeah.
But the beauty of, especially when it comes to Africa and tribe, it's a community, and that's the beauty of it, and that's the beauty of Bino Fino, is that, you guys behind the scenes are a family, and what happens is when you have something like this, you guys stick together. You find a solution, you make it work, which is benefited for everybody. And so when I transition into the cartoon Bino Fino, I think about the tribe and family and the importance of family, and how the two main characters, Bino and Fino, are the most important characters in the cartoon series. But if you don't have their mama, papa, grandfather, grandmama, and Xena, there's no Bino Fino. So can you kind of talk about the importance of family when it comes to affirmation in a cartoon series?
Okay. Interesting. What I would say is, okay, actually 2 points. One, before the cartoon, there's what you mentioned about the team, our production team and stuff like that. I mean, I just elaborate on that a little bit because it has been very, very tough to build that family of people. And we've had a lot of issues along the way, building a family of like-minded people who want to get this project finished. And I got to give them this team of people, even from the guys way back who maybe we've fallen out back in the day, but the current team right now, I got to give them like full respect, because they also tried to work out how to make this work during this pandemic situation. And and they kind of, let's say, they've now bought in to the whole Bino Fino, what we're trying to get done with the project. Because before it was all kind of in-house. Now we're working with different companies and different artists across the country, hence the remote thing. And they are all working as a really good team, trying to make this happen. So I just want to just mention that part of things. Family, I mean, for the cartoon show itself, it's very important. I wanted it for this one anyway. I mean, because let's say in my mind, I've got like a whole universe of things I want to create, like all sorts of shows and stuff like that. But for this specific one, actually, the funny thing is, for this show, I just wanted to just show a normal family. I mean, that was it wasn't supposed to be something extraordinary. I wanted it to be actually normal, if that makes any sense. I just wanted it to be just like, you got the kids, You got the parents. Definitely got to show some grandparents, right?
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it kind of came from, it was something that I wanted, because that's what's happened in my life. I mean, I got my kids, they've got their grandparents who are my parents or my wife's parents. Yeah, I mean, I think that's, I don't know how to explain it. I think there was a kind of like, let me see, hang on, there's a car outside. Can you hear the car?
Yeah.
Is it,
a little bit.
Let it go. Okay, cool. What I wanted to do was to make sure that, in a weird way, the show is quite normal. So I don't know if that makes any sense.
No, definitely.
Yeah. So I wanted it to be, how do I explain it? The issues of family is there, but I'm not trying to stick it in your face. It's just like a family, man. It's just a family. It's just a normal family doing their stuff, living their life. Because something that you said as we were speaking before we started the interview properly is that you get a lot of weird negative stereotypes and views and blah blah blah. I mean, from various angles, because one thing I knew this show was going to be was, even though the audience was initially Nigerian and African or whatever, I wanted it to be, it's a global show. Whoever watches it, right? So the idea was to show just, yeah, like you said, something very, very important, like the views that you get, especially in children's media about Africa. Hey man, they're very, they're very skewed. And hey, yeah, do what you got to do, no problem. But for me, it was like, okay, is this it? So, okay, listen, man, there's a different, we're here, kind of a thing. So it was more about that. So it was just like, hey, this is us doing our thing. We're sitting here, we got our house. Sometimes we drive a car, we go to the shops, we do what it is, we discuss things, we're having a normal life. Yeah, it's not some kind of weird safari zone, every 3 seconds. You know what I mean? We're not just walking down that, street singing hymn, whatever it is, in tribal. Nah, man, we're just normal people doing our things. Normal is different. You have different types of normal. You have rich, poor, middle class, whatever it is. You have, I don't know. Yeah, so let's, at least with the show, let's show a different angle of that, a different flavor of what's going on in Nigeria, which also mirrors a lot of what's happening in parts of Africa in a specific, let's say, income bracket or something. Let's just, similar to what's happening in Ghana, similar to what's happening in Kenya, similar to what's happening in South Africa. I don't know, Cape Verde, wherever it is, just people living their life, so there'll be differences, but also similarities. But, look, we got mobile phones and whoop-de-doo, whatever, so it's like, anyway, I mean, I wanted it to be just powerful in its normalcy, if that makes any sense. It's just, it's not an issue, let's get on with it. It's not an issue here, so don't make it so an exotic thing. If that makes any sense.
And family should not be an exotic thing.
Exactly.
But unfortunately, in the United States, is that family is an exotic thing. Like you see it on television, but everyday life you don't see that, unfortunately. And that's reality. And that's the beauty of Bino Fino. Like when I think of Bino Fino, I think of the Cosby Show. You see a father, a mother that's working. They have regular jobs, like you said. They have cars. They have a nice house. Their kids are educated. They learn from their grandparents. So you see this, and that's the importance of affirmation, is that you kids see that, and they see what family should be and ought to be. Some families may have it, some families do, but at the same time, it's a good affirmation to see that on an everyday basis, because that makes you feel like you're doing the right thing. In your mind, you're like, I'm doing the right thing. But until you actually visually see another person doing the same thing you're doing, you're like, They got it. So that means I'm doing the right thing. And transition to like what we were talking before, like one of my favorite episodes on Bino Fino was the episode, what was it called? Turning water into electricity episode.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And the power went out. The kids like, oh, I'm bored. I don't know what to do. And then one of my favorite characters on Bino Fino is Gina, the
Yeah. Yeah.
butterfly. And she
Mm-hmm.
comes in exuberant as always, and she takes the kids and teach them how it works.
Yeah.
So instead of like complaining like, oh, what are we gonna do? What she does is take them over there and say, this is how it works.
Yeah.
So everything has its purpose. And then when they get back, the power comes back on. And then now, before the show ends, they know how everything works. And
Yeah.
that's how powerful, like something as simple like that makes a big impact. Because, you have kids and, situation goes on and kids can't figure out how it happens. And as a parent, you explain it. And I love that episode, how Xena explains that to the kids where they can understand, they figure it out, and they move on. So can you kind of talk about that aspect of it?
Yeah, before I do, I just want to say one thing though. Regarding the whole family thing, it's not like I'm trying to, let's say, put down, let's say, other family models, like whatever it is. It's just, this is the picture we're showing with the show, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So it's like, I would say, oh, man, how do I put it? I mean, that episode you mentioned, it came from the point of view that sometimes we have a lot of blackouts back home, in Nigeria and stuff. And I wanted to just show that reality. So not try and pretend it doesn't happen or whatever. And then just show, like, Xena's supposed to be like kind of like an aunt, or like somebody who kind of just, you have that auntie, that, the one who, so she kind of closer to the age of the kids.
Yes.
And, that kind of style, and then always teaches them stuff that maybe the parents wouldn't, or like they're too busy to,
Yeah.
And then, so that's kind of what she does, but with, like, let's say, with exaggerated powers. Let's put it that way. So that's kind of one of the running themes through the show, is that, again, she's also part of the family. Again, she comes from, like, let's say I have like younger aunts who used to hang with me when I was younger.
Right.
So they're the ones kind of like she's based on. I got like, well, 3 spring to mind right now. So and in fact, one of them is actually working with us on this show now, which is quite cool. Yeah. So so I think that's kind of like, so if from that episode, it happens in several episodes where she steps in, teaches them some stuff, and then, like you said, helps resolve the situation, helps teach them something, helps calm them down when they're fighting each other.
Mm-hmm.
It just depends. It depends on
and I think the beauty of her character is that she teaches her Bino and Fina how to problem solve, and that's cool. Kids, especially when kids get frustrated that they can't figure something out, is that he comes in and say, all right, this is how this works. This is how this works.
Exactly.
You think about it, put it together, the problem solved.
Exactly.
And Gina kind of remind me of my aunt Gina, because when I see Gina, I think of my aunt Gina, because she's always lively, upbeat, like, hey guys.
Precisely. Exactly.
And every time I see that kind of gives me that same vibe, and that's the beauty of Bino and Fino. It's like every character in the cartoon resembles a family member. Like, we all have that grandfather we all we go to when we need some wisdom. We all have that mom that's that rock. She's there when you fall or when you're sick. You have, we all have that dad that's just, he works, but, when you need something, he's there. And especially with the grandmother is like, we all have that grandmother that that nurturer. You know, your mom is the nurturer, but she's also the nurturer too.
Exactly.
So she's there when your mom can't figure it out. You can go to your grandmother, and I just love how that show kind of embodies everything about when it comes to family, man. And I think that's beauty. And then also because it's in Nigeria, it
Hmm.
shows that, you know what, like you said earlier, is that, you know, it's family, no matter what. You know, we all have the same problems. We all have the same frustrations, everything. You know, even though we're in a different continent, your problems is no different from my problems. And that's the beauty
Exactly.
of Bino and Fino.
Exactly. That's pretty much it. There's nothing. That's it. That's pretty much it, man. I can't really add more to that. That's kind of pretty much it. Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
let's go back to the early days, all right? You know, you have this great job as an architect. So
Yeah.
tell me, how do you come from that profession and say, you know what, I want to make a children's series because you know what, there's no cartoon series to reflect my community. So you know what, I don't want to do this no more. I want to be an illustrator. So can you give me that timeline of that transition?
Yeah. Sure, man. Um, First things first. Let me just shut this down, so I don't want any noise to interrupt us. I don't know if you're picking up some noise. Hold on a
No,
sec.
I'm not
Yeah.
picking anything. Go ahead, go
You're
for it,
not
man.
picking up anything, really.
No, I'm good. I can hear you. Yes.
Strange. Okay. You didn't pick up any kind of weird, like the.
No.
Ah, okay. Okay. I'm picking it. Okay. Cool. All right. So, the beginning. Okay. First things first. I don't want to. I mean, the job I had wasn't some kind of spectacularly amazing architect's
Right.
kind of job thing. Actually, what happened was I was in the UK for a bit. I was in
Mhm.
London,
Mhm.
then went back home to Nigeria for some personal reasons, then set up a company there. And I was doing mainly marketing videos, like because my skill set was architecture, but also animation.
Right.
So what I was doing mainly in the UK was something called 3D architectural visualization, which
Yes.
is basic. Yeah, you know, right? So which is basically like, okay, cool. You've got like, let's say a project for the Olympics in 2028 or whatever it is.
Right.
And they want to visualize what the stadium's going to look like.
Right.
So that's where we'd come in. So
Mm.
we'd now work with the architectural, well, actually I was in the architecture companies, but we would now visualize it using the
Right.
plans to now show you what it's going to look like.
Right.
Um, so yeah, okay. So eventually went back home to Nigeria for a bit. So I was going in and out, Nigeria, London, Nigeria, London. Then yeah, I just stayed back, tried to set up a company. We were doing marketing videos, um, but it was tough, man. It wasn't. It was a tough. That's another story. I think the whole, like let's say, um, I would say like the people in a lot of people in, especially Africans, like Nigerians, Ghanaians, whatever. Some of them in the diaspora trying to go
Right.
back to now set up stuff.
Right.
I say I wasn't fully out of Nigeria, so I wasn't. I was kind of going in between,
Right.
but I still had to go back and set something up from scratch in the sense that
Right.
I didn't have a track record there. Blah blah blah.
Right.
So let's just say short story. It was really pretty tough. It was doing okay. It's trying to build up some, but
Right.
I thought that it was so risky. And I had this other idea for this cartoon show, which I thought after one particular project went south and didn't
Right.
go too well,
Right.
I decided that I'm just going to take the leap because I first
Right.
had this idea.
Right.
And I had a couple of guys I was working with, a little bit, and we're doing animation. And I was like, you know what? Um, I'm gonna go for it. Let's just do a couple of test runs on this animation thing.
Right.
And the guy I was working with at that time, Sagir, he we were working together, and he had this. He was working on some software, just testing out some animation software. And I was
Right.
like, let's just see how it works.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, it's kind of this weird thing. It was just kind of just this. I just decided, okay, we're just gonna go for it.
Right.
I don't know how to explain it. It's just when something is kind of when you're against the wall kind of thing. It's like
Mm.
not that you have nothing to lose, but it's like, okay, well, and what do you really want to? Yeah, well, that's another thing. I was like, okay, listen, two things. after one of the projects went bad, I decided that I did not want one person or one dude or one guy or one lady or whatever it is to hold my company or my people or my future in their hands. So basically, one decision maker would decide whether I get paid or not.
Right.
And sometimes you have to do it. I get it, but I decided at that point I'm done. I don't want to do that anymore. So what do I now do to counteract that? Oh, wait a minute, I got this crazy cartoon idea, which basically, look, I can scale up the decision process. If I can provide something to many people, and do you like it? Yes, no. Do you like it? Yes, no. Do you like it? Yes, no. Okay, cool. It's not just one person now.
Right.
It's if I can reach enough of an audience.
Right.
The theory is they should be able to support the show if we give enough value.
Right.
Okay, cool. So, all right then. So this around 2007, 2008.
Right.
So it's like, okay, cool. Then let's just. So that's like, animation was a different thing back home then. So, even globally it was different.
Right.
So yeah, I think that's kind of the embryo, the kind of start of the thing.
Right.
Decided to go for it, and since then I've just been trying to make it work. That's pretty much.
But when you started that transition, what did your family think? Did they think you were crazy? Like, what are you doing? You know, you got a stable job. You're gonna just not do that and just focus on what you're passionate about. What was the early phases on that?
I would say that they're already kind of new in the sense of ever since I was a kid, I was always drawing, and it's kind of been like a constant battle in a weird way.
Right.
That's why partly why I was an architect, because I actually wanted to do animation from the get-go, from the beginning. But back then, first of all, there's no way you could make money with animation in Nigeria. It just was unheard of. So it's like, what are you, crazy? You have to do something. So I chose something that was still artistic.
Right.
Had a scientific background. That was architecture. That was kind of like the compromise path. But at some point I was like, nah, this isn't working.
Right.
But I gotta give my parents credit. I mean, look, you're telling them you want to be an animator. First of all, what is an animator? I mean, oh, you want to do cartoons? I mean, those cartoons that you used to watch when you were a kid, that's what you want to do?
Right.
Blah blah blah. My dad was like, what? He doesn't like, I mean, I love the guy even till today. It's just like, so what do you do again? Kind of a thing. But yeah, cool. You got my support. Whatever. My mom gets it. She's into it now. But it took them a long time to come. But I gotta give them credit, because at the end of the day, I mean, you'd be fighting them, but they just want the best for you. So I know a lot of people. Especially in the creative sector, they go like, my parents don't want me to do this, my parents don't want me to do that. But I'm like, especially now as a parent, you now know that all you want is the best, as most people anyway. I don't know, I can't speak for all parents, but most parents want the best for their kids, right? So you're like, yeah, I don't see anyone earning any money from this animation stuff, so you got to become a lawyer. Yeah. And then you can do the animation stuff on the side, or okay, just finish the degree. Just do something first. Make sure you can take care of yourself before you start doing this funny thing. So I think that was kind of how it was. So when I decided to now make the shift,
I
wouldn't say I didn't hit that much. It was really like, yeah, well, there he goes again kind of thing. But it was also, yeah, okay, we can kind of see your thought process.
Right.
It's a risky one.
Right.
We get it. But to be quite frank, if you look at it from another angle,
the
demand is massive.
Right. But also,
so who's providing children's animated content of this type? First of all, for the African diaspora, or generally just, okay, anyone who wants to watch a cartoon about and has content featuring Africa, Africans, Africa, whatever it is. Okay, let it not be, all we have at the moment is some kind of weird, you know, again, I don't mind. Yeah, Disney, do your stuff. You guys do whatever it is. But where's a genuine voice from the continent that's doing this? Just like the music. You're like, okay, cool. Okay, I want to hear some genuine music from Nigeria, from Ghana, from Kenya, from South Africa. Okay, cool. I can buy it. I know it's from them. I know it's from there.
Right.
All right, fine. So what's, you know, book authors? They're there. Okay, cool. Even film, Nollywood, Gollywood, all these kind of stuff, you know, all over the place. So, but what about the kids?
Right.
So what's happening in the kids sector?
Right.
You know, especially in animation. So, which, you know, kids love, right? So I was like, okay, well, from a strictly business standpoint, numbers wise and value proposition, this is a very underserved market.
Right.
If you want to look at it that from that cold lens.
Right.
Okay, so somebody has to make it work. So that was it.
Why not me?
Yeah, let's see if we can be one of the people who can make it work, right? Because it doesn't make any sense. Like Nigeria is like the most populous, let's say, Black nation in the world, right? So, and very culturally diverse, whatever, right? Okay, let's say Nigeria, but let's say, look, man, Nigeria, there's West Africa, there's South East, whatever it is. None of us have any cartoons for our kids.
No, that's crazy. I know.
I mean, really? I mean, come on. So it's like, just do it. Basically, that was kind of the vibe. We're just like, okay, let's just go and let's see what happens, and then whatever. So I know that one thing I know is this: somebody's got to make it happen because the demand is there. You can have 50 Bino Finos, it will not serve the market.
Right.
You can have, you know, I mean, look at the existing market now. You can have how many cartoons are still coming out every day, and still the kids are just like, you know, just taking it in. Right. So it's like, you know, so for me, that's not the problem. For me, the problem is who can make it work, who can provide value, who can provide a quality product, and make it sustainable.
And you think what kind of help that transition easy for you, especially having that conversation with your family, is that you had like a plan, a couple year goal. You had a business plan.
Yeah, I had a business plan.
Documentation where they saw, you said your projection. This is year one, year two. So it made a huge.
Yeah. We had a business plan, everything. Of course, the business plan got destroyed the second we started, right? But we still had a business plan. I mean, one of the business plans was, okay, we're gonna finish 50-something episodes by, when was it? I don't know, like 60 years ago or something.
Right.
We're still trying to finish those 52 episodes right now. but it is what it is. But at least the business plan makes you think, okay, cool, let's go.
Right.
Now when you now hit the market and you now hit the real stuff, okay, start adapting, start tweaking. How long can you survive? So that's where I thank a lot of people behind my back. Family, friends, team members, some who we've fallen out right now. We don't even talk to each other anymore, but still those guys helped me get to where we are right now with the project. So it is what it is.
And that's the important thing too. And then one thing that you alluded to earlier about the market of having a homegrown content in that community, because I know I did watch a YouTube video where you were interviewed in 2011. You know, that's how much information, you know, when I try to do diligently.
Yeah, you've gone deep. Anyway, yeah.
You talked about how one of the reasons too is that when it comes to content in that region, majority of that content is outsourced. So kids are getting Tom and Jerry, Bugs Bunny, anything that's related to Looney Tunes, Disney, but they're not getting homegrown content. And so how has it been since that time to now? Has it got better? Is it still the same? Is it you got to do a little bit more? How's it been since 2011?
I would say, okay, first things first, I have nothing against other cartoons. I mean, I grew up on Voltron Force, like Speed Racer, the whole shebang, right? But we need a mix. You need, you know, you need I was watching, Voltron Force and Thunder Sub taught me about Japan in some weird way. Looney Tunes in some way gave me some kind of weird insight into America. Whether it's real or not, it kind of just, you're getting tastes from all over the place. So like, where's ours, right? So that's kind of where it came from. So I would say that situation has, I would say is in some weird ways gotten worse.
Really? Wow.
Now I'm going to talk about, I could be wrong. So anyone who's watching this, yeah, sure, man, we can debate this. But it's like, I think, let's say, take it away from animation, just children's media.
Right.
I think children's media, I can only speak maybe for the Nigerian, let's say, networks,
Right.
was more valued back then. And they gave it more budget and gave it more, gave the people, the talented people and the passionate people, like we have our own, let's say, national broadcaster and stuff like that. And they had some amazing children's programs. Right. It wasn't animation, but it was at least children's programming, right? Animation itself, no, man, it hasn't really changed. It has not changed. It hasn't changed much since then, because you see, this stuff is quite hard. I mean, it's not like hard, like, oh, wow, I'm fighting a war hard, or I don't know, trying to save somebody's life in an emergency situation, or something that you said, it's a marathon.
Right.
To sit down and produce animation takes a while, especially in a market that doesn't have funding, like, let's say, investment products to fund something like that, right? It's different. Like, you can make your money from animation, let's say in the US. If you have a good one, you make your money back. Nigeria, it doesn't work that way. We're trying to, it should, and we're trying to figure out a way to make it work that way.
Right.
But because of the old traditional ways of how you make money with animation, licensing fees, merchandising, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
We definitely haven't figured it out how to make it work yet. But going back to your main original question, was that I think the situation, I think it's either stayed the same or gotten slightly worse. That is my assessment.
Right, because it's crazy, because like you said earlier, it's like the way you learned about America was from American cartoons. The way you learned about Japan was Japanese animation. The way that you kind of learned the culture and the value from abroad was from the actual country itself. And what's frustrating as a person that lives in America who wants content from Africa, it's in America, which is frustrating because you don't get the actual authentic imagery of Africa. Because for the longest time, when living in the States, to portray the image of Africa was just being in the forest and the spear and the shield, and that was a constant reassurance. But it's not like that. There are cities. There are. Yeah,
we have the spares. We have that, but we also have this.
Have communities. You have skyscrapers. You have this, and so there's not a balance when it comes to content when you talk about Africa. And that's the most frustrating thing to me. It's like No, sorry, man. Let me not interrupt you. Yeah, go ahead. And I think the most frustrating thing is that you have to dig deep to find content like that. And that's the frustrating thing about it.
True. I mean, I would say the cool thing is now, though, I'll say the first thing, which we're trying to hopefully doing our best to step up to, is that I'll say the responsibility is ours.
Yes.
So in the sense of, like, for instance, I mean, just going back to the whole cultural thing, I mean, I got a little taste of Japan from this, I got a little taste of America from that. I mean, like, for instance, hip hop was a massive, still is to this day, a massive influence on my life, right? I mean, I could go into, I don't know, history with hip hop, how it I'm a Nigerian guy, so, but now you have an Afro beat and stuff like that coming out of Nigeria, going out, out of Ghana, going out of wherever it is, South African music killing it, all the Kenya. I hope you guys represent all you guys, so don't, we always fight, whatever. Anyway, so it's like, I think it's our responsibility to create the content and to get it out there. And then we're doing it, like I said, the film industry is now doing it, musicians are doing it, authors have been doing it from time. We just have to work out how to connect the dots. So, okay, produce the content, cool. There's an audience. So how do I get it to you in the US who wants to watch it? How do you in the US find it? How do you support? How do you pay for it? How do you blah, 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 blah. So, but the cool thing is now the world is a lot, we couldn't have this interview in 2008 the way we're doing it now.
That's true.
And that's what excites me. And in fact, that's how the show got pretty big, because we got to a point where we started doing the show, started doing the production, thinking we're going to hit 52 episodes, ran out of money after doing episode 3, and then had to stop. So we were now trying to figure out, okay, so what do we now do? And then this thing comes along called YouTube, and we're like, okay, no TV station is going to take it as it is now. They don't care. Why don't we just, it was a big debate because you spend money and time to produce these things, right? So you're like, no, somebody's got to pay me for this, right? So I can't just stick it out there for free. Doesn't make any sense. But then it was kind of like a counterintuitive or counter whatever move. It's just like, well, just take it out there. Let's see if people actually like it or not. Because you don't know, right? So, okay, cool. Let's release something on YouTube. And I think it was 2010 was the first release. So if it wasn't for YouTube, YouTube was our TV station, basically. YouTube was our distribution channel to start off with. That's how people in UK, US, Europe got to know about us, So, but like I said, I think it's our responsibility. It's picking up now. The world of media is getting disrupted every month. So now the ability for you to create, control, own, and distribute is now there. There's no, you literally, you can't do your own Netflix to their level, but you can do your own Netflix. If you want to.
And
like
I think,
you can do it. You're just not in, so.
And that's the one thing, is transitioning to the next phase of what's next when it comes to receiving content. Now, you have Netflix, you have Hulu, you have all these streaming services, but also what's the next thing? Because eventually, it's going to over time, Netflix, Hulu, they're going to be obsolete. So it's going to be something that's going to replace how people are going to receive content. So have your team have that conversation of what are you guys going to do so fans can keep getting Bino and Fino?
We haven't really had that type of a conversation, but have we? I think maybe we have, but it's more in the sense of, here's the thing. It's like, okay, I'll say that we're coming from a point of view of, can you create something of value? If you can create that thing of value, the rest is just problem solving, in the sense of, okay, listen, before we're trying to get it onto, we're trying to pitch the show to somewhere like, let's say, Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network and blah, blah, blah. But that doesn't really make any sense in a way. When I take a step back, we're like, because those are the only players we knew in the field, right? So like, okay, let's pitch it to them. But now, like you said, we don't even have to go to Netflix. You can just watch it on YouTube. We're on Amazon at the moment. We actually have created our own platform, and we hope to be putting content onto that platform ourselves as well. The way it is this: if you take a step back, and if you think of, like, say, okay, even if it's hip hop, or let's say, okay, forget it. Do you know Enter the Dragon?
Yes.
Bruce Lee.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So Bruce Lee, Enter the Dragon. I think my dad originally had a copy of that. I still remember to this day on a platform called Betamax.
Yes, I remember
Betamax.
that. Yeah, I remember that. Yes.
Okay, so you have Betamax, goes to VHS, goes to DVD, goes to Blu-ray.
Right.
You can probably stream Enter the Dragon somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Enter the Dragon still is just there.
Yes.
Whoever loves it, loves it.
Right.
So the idea is if you create something that stands the test of time, there'll be ways of distributing it. Let's put it that way. There's gonna be ways of, like for instance, music, hip hop. I listen to stuff on tape, then mini disc, then DVD. Now I'm streaming it on what was it, Spotify, whatever it's called, SoundCloud. It's the same track has existed for the 30 years.
Yes.
I mean, I just watched some Wu-Tang stuff on YouTube, right? Okay, not the most family-friendly stuff, obviously, but
kids.
but yeah, exactly, right. But it's been going on, so that's where I see it. If your content has value and is evergreen,
right,
whatever it is, whether we're somehow transmitting stuff from my phone to this thing,
right,
as long as the content is there to educate people, either to read, watch, listen to, it is what it is. So,
and that's the key thing is, like you said, it's about value, and that's what Bino and Fino offers. It offers value, the value of family, and that's the one thing what lockdown has made us focus is on family.
true, very true.
And that engagement, because you're focusing on Bino and Fino, you're trying to create content, but at the same time, you want to spend time with your family, but you want to create this content because you want to monetize it, but at the same time, you want to leave a legacy with your family. So I think the bigger picture is with Bino and Fino, it represents that core tradition of family, which leads into legacy, as Bino Fino is worldwide. It's in what 11 different languages. Am I right or wrong? Or is it more than 11?
10. I think it's 10.
10? Okay. 10.
Yeah, but it will be 11. It will be. Yeah.
And much more. So
yeah.
How, as it becomes a bigger brand, how do you work with not figure out, but how do you work to keep the integrity of the show? Because you have it go big and people trying to pull you in different directions, like, oh, I think you should do it this way because this is going to get more people attention to the show. So how do you stay focused to the core value of the reason why you made the show as the show gets bigger?
Yeah, so, okay. I mean, I would say it's actually quite hard, actually, in a weird way, not in a negative way, but in a way that, listen, there's such a lack of content, and my brain is always thinking about okay, how about this show? How about that show? How about this show? Yeah. And the danger is you try and put it all into one show.
Right.
Like, okay, we need like a, like a kind of a Ben 10, but the guy is in this and he's this, right, and he's from Nigeria or he's from this, and we need something based on the folk tales and this. Right. And now suddenly you get this Bino Fino episode and it's like science fiction. And right. You gotta, or for instance, another very, very, very interesting one, which I don't know if we're gonna break it or not, but it's like you want to connect the diaspora in a weird way, right? So it's like, hey, cool, okay, because it happens. Like I have relatives in US, I have relatives in Canada, I have relatives in UK. Hell, you've got the Brazilian, you've got the American, yeah, it's everywhere, right? Caribbean, African, Caribbean, the islands, wherever it is, you have Europe, you have a massive black diaspora. Everybody who's mixed in, there's so many rich layers of this. Right. The danger is you want to just show everything,
right,
and then cram it into one show, and it has the danger of just making that show very mixed up and it doesn't make any sense. Regarding the other side of things, diluting it, and let's say we've had people say stuff like, "Hey, can you change the show, make them have American accents and blah blah blah," because we don't think the American audience will understand.
Right.
and it's like, no, it doesn't make any sense because they're living in Nigeria. So why are they gonna have American accents? It doesn't make it, But that was way before, stuff like Black Panther hit, and everyone's like, "Yay," So it's like, yeah, so it's like, okay, but for me, nah, man. I mean, if it gets to the point where it's so big, I'm not really in charge or in control anymore. I'm gonna try and make sure that, well, let's see if it gets to that point. That'd be cool in one weird way, because that means it's now got into a real massive scale.
Right.
The DNA for that show, because I do want to do other shows, but for this show, no, man, nothing's gonna, because I see this as almost like a kind of especially what's going on. I mean, nowadays, I mean, not that it's going on now, we know what's been going on, but what I mean is, especially now I have kids. I mean, I already had this viewpoint already, because the funny thing is, I mean, some places you do a cartoon, you're just doing a cartoon, no problem. But you can have like things that are trying to, I wouldn't say have an agenda, but let's say trying to represent something. And you can have it in music, you can have it in film, books, poetry, whatever it is. So I'm not trying to, make us seem bigger than we are, but the way I see the show is that it's in that category. I can do another one where it's just more like, action filled and whatever. Actually, even that one might be the same thing, actually, come to think about it. But because I have a DNA, the DNA is just represent where I'm from well.
Right.
So one thing is, I'm looking at my kids, I'm like, okay, cool. I need to make sure that you've got something that's got your corner and it's got your back in my sector of the media, which what I do, which is I don't do books. I haven't said that we are going to do a Bino Fino book range, but the thing is, let me see, have something that takes care of them and has their best interest at heart, right? And I thought about it in a more abstract way before I had kids.
Right.
Now I have kids, and I'm seeing, the craziness that's going on right now. Again, not that it's suddenly happening now, but my point is, it's making me even more focused that nothing's gonna touch the DNA of this show. Nothing. It's like basically over my dead body type of thing. It's not gonna happen. Because that's what makes the show genuine, right? So if you mess with it, I don't explain this. Just basically, it's like part of me in the show. So therefore, I fought people over it. So it's not an issue. They're not gonna suddenly change and, no. That one I know. That's not even an issue for me. I mean, the only way it would change is if, something happens to me and I haven't quite put in place the team to take it forward, which I'm trying to work on, So, but the show's integrity or whatever, or the values in the show are not gonna get touched. It's not gonna change. It's not gonna happen.
And that's good that you stick to the core and the principle of why you created that show. And leaving that legacy for your kids and their kids. And it's something to look back at and say, you know what, I did this. Initially, I did this because this was the main goal was to have important representation of where I'm from, what you did. And now your kids have that, and they can take it and run with it and say, hey, just like Bino Fino, you had the grandma, the grandpa, the dad, the mom. It's the passing of the torch. Like you created a content that at that time wasn't seen and now is there. And now it's up to your kids to take it and make it better than what you made it. And I think that's the beauty of Bino Fino. But my last question for you, with Father's Day around the corner, I know Father's Day in America is around the corner. What does it mean to be a father to you?
Actually, one thing I just want to clarify your last point,
Okay.
kind of related to this question, is that I'm not actually doing it as a legacy for them, for my kids to kind of take it. They have their own path. They can do whatever. They can become great dancers or scientists or whatever it is they want to do. It's more that I want something when they're young or their peers. I want something in the media that they consume that backs them, that protects them, has their back, shows them in a positive light, and does it at scale. As in, I'm talking like, my mind is like, okay, can this thing be doing like 1 billion views?
Right.
Because for me, the power is we're seeing it and everybody else is seeing it too.
Yes.
And we're influencing things.
Yes.
That's the way I see it. I mean, it sounds a bit bad, but hey, this is like, it's a media war. It's a brain space war.
Right.
So that's what I mean by, like, you know, when I'm looking at my kids, I'm just like, you can be worried that, okay, you're under attack, so to speak, in a weird way, right? So, yeah, not constantly, but, you know, I just want to make sure that, yeah, if you guys need a bit of your own space, I got you with Bino Fino, and anything else that I can produce while I'm still alive and I can, you know, make it a success, I got your back from a genuine point of view. This is what we're going to do for you, kind of thing. So, and that leads into the dad thing. I mean, boy, it's, it's an interesting one. It's quite powerful. I don't know if that makes any sense. I mean, look, parenthood is not for everybody. I don't believe you have to have kids to make you whole or whatever. You know, I'm not gonna be one of these, if you don't have kids, you don't know anything about life kind of stuff, and you have to make you live. Nah. I'm not gonna do that. No, that's not where I'm from. All I can say is how it changed my life, and it's the best way I can describe it is just, I mean, I got a son, just had a son like in the last year, November, and my daughter. Simple stuff, man. The second when they just look up to you and just say, I don't know, my daughter says, hey, she just gives me a hug or asks me for some help on something, or just looks into my eyes and just smiles. I don't know how to explain it. It's just moments. When you have those moments, it's hard, man. I mean, first of all, it's hard. Just, you know, the guy doesn't sleep and you're trying to go to bed, man. I'm dying here. I need some sleep. But it's a hard part of it. But the part where you just have the bit where that person is your responsibility, and they're just giving you, like, let's say, a kind of, they just love you. So there's no questions asked. They're like, yeah, you're the guy. So I don't know how to explain it. You know, it's like, you know, your daughter gives you a hug, and it's just like this kind of thing. She's crying and something's happened to her, and you gotta, you know, take care of her. I've never really been, obviously, I haven't been in that situation. I've never had those types of feelings before, of protectiveness, of wanting them. I don't want them to be, I just want them to be safe, normal, how they like them, healthy. I want them to outlast me. I want them to be all they can be. So being a dad has been tough. It's a big responsibility. You make your mistakes. If you're lucky enough, either side, to have a partner, so either you're a guy lucky enough to have a wife or your girlfriend, whatever it is, or the flip side, wife lucky to have enough to help you along that journey, because it's a tough one. I ain't gonna lie, you know, it's a tough one, but it's been nothing but, yeah, it's amazing. I don't know how to put it. I mean, I don't really like exaggerating things. I'm not really one of those guys who's just like, yeah, man, it's the greatest thing in the whole world. I'm not like that, but I've never really felt feelings like this when I've, you know, with kids. I've never, my children have brought out, yeah, okay, that's the best way I can describe. My children have brought out feelings in me that I never thought I had.
Wow.
Let's put it that way. And people who know me. They know me. I'm like, you know, Mr. Grumpy, Mr. Don't Say Much, Mr. Whatever. Like, yeah, I'm the guy who's like, I don't cry in the movies, you know, like what you guys are crying for, you know, I don't watch all these romantic movies. I'm like, yeah, it's probably. So my friends know me who know me. My brother, who's probably will watch this, knows me, and sometimes he laughs when he sees me say stuff because he knows me, right?
Right.
You know, I'm the guy who's like watching Batman and all these kind of Bruce Lee and all this kind of stuff, and I'm like busy crying because my daughter said something, and he's like, "What are you crying for?" I'm like, you know, like nothing. The funny, you know, you actually find yourself like, well, I don't know what it was. After being a parent, I suddenly found myself crying at these weird movies, no apparent reason that I never would have cried in before, you know. So I think, yeah. Anyway, man, I think that's the best. I don't have like a tidy one word or one sentence way of describing it, but it's just it's an experience, has its challenges. Yeah, I try not to beat myself up about the mistakes I make. You can't be a perfect parent, just gotta do your best. That's pretty much it.
And that's the beautiful thing about it, man, is that in a nutshell, what your kids did is take you out of your comfort level. And that's what Bino Fino does, is takes people out of their comfort level when it comes to their misconceptions of family that lives in Africa. It takes them out their comfort level and say, oh, I can relate to that. I can understand that. And
yeah, I appreciate that.
Thank you for that. And I appreciate that, man. I'm always will be a supporter of you, whatever you do, as well as the show, man. You know me, I'm like telling people, go watch Bino and Fino. Go watch it.
Man. Yeah, you've been around you've been a supporter for. I was like, who is this guy? I'm like,
he has no faith.
Like, yeah. First of all, yeah. What does he look like? It's like it's the first time I'm actually seeing your face.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think you got like kind of like an avatar, like either shades or something.
Yes.
So I'm like, who is this dude? I'm like, but he's been there, just like, you know, supporting, just quietly. Sometimes you go away, then you come back again, and you go and you come back again. You try and hook up. They hooked up this interview for me way back in the day, and it's been like, so yeah. I mean, and quite frankly, it's like people like you and who keep us going, because it can get pretty like, okay, guys, are we doing this? Is anyone watching this? Is anyone? Is this providing value to anybody, man? You know, so yeah. So thanks for the support. I mean, it really does help. It really. You probably don't know how much it does, because it does.
Yeah,
it's a marathon, man. So it does help. It really does help.
Let me end this before I start getting emotional and start crying. You know how you don't like crying. You know.
Yeah, we don't like crying. I ain't crying. Yeah.
And I don't want to be crying on this recording now. You know.
Yeah.
I got an image to hold.
It's all good. It's all good.
But thank you, sir. I appreciate your time. You're always welcome. You know, just to chat. You know, your home is my home, and vice versa.
Thank you, sir.
Where can people find Bino and Fino?
Okay, so everywhere now. Actually, not everywhere. Okay, go. We're on. Okay, if you just Google Bino and Fino, if you're on YouTube, you'll find us. If you're on Twitter, you'll find us. We're now on Amazon. We've been on YouTube. We've just set up our new platform called Amara, which is AMMARRA.TV, or .com basically, which is the home for Bino and Fino as well. And actually, it's gonna be a home for children's entertainment like Bino and Fino. Just Bino and Fino is the first one, right? So where else are we? We're gonna do a book soon, hopefully. Not hopefully, we're working on it already, so it's gonna happen. Yeah, man. I mean, we're Instagram. So basically BINO and FINO on most of the platforms. You're gonna find us. We now done some songs as well, so hopefully we're gonna be on Spotify, iTunes, and all of that as well. So we're just gonna keep expanding the universe. Basically, we're gonna try and make people aware that we exist. But most platforms we're available. We're available on most platforms. Yeah, we're on Quilly TV. I don't know if anybody knows Quilly TV. Yeah, man, we're in Brazil. I think we're in, like, not on TV, but we're on different educational apps now. We are on Common Sense Media. We're everywhere. We're getting there. You know, we're getting there. You know, slowly but surely. Apple TV, Samsung, Tune Goggles, I mean, we're in a lot of places. So
definitely.
we
Because
just keep pushing it. Basically.
if you got a phone, you got a laptop,
yeah.
you can get it.
Yeah. No, you can get it. It's not gonna. If you can watch YouTube, even if you can't, you can get the DVD.
Right.
If you want it,
you can get it.
Yeah.
Just Google search it, you'll find it. But also just to let everybody know who's watching this interview that all the links to Bino Fino will be below the comment. So if you kind of slow and can't pick up what Amadou is saying, will be on the bottom. So what's next with the dolls? Are you gonna make more? Are you gonna make a mama papa doll, grandpa doll? What's going on? Or is it just gonna be the three characters?
Okay, we're gonna be okay. 1 second, because I know my brother's gonna kill me if I don't do this. Okay, wait, hold up. First thing is this, like, because he's gonna be like, yeah, dude, because you got my name slightly wrong.
I apologize. Break it down to me, brother.
Not at all. No, because it's Adamu.
Adamu.
That's it. That's it. Cool. The dolls, there's a whole story. Anyway, there's a whole story behind that. Yeah, okay, we're ending, so I'll tell you some other time. But there's a whole story behind those dolls. But
we could do that privately if you want to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, anyway, those dolls cause us some pain, man. Anyway, the dolls, we're gonna see how people love them. So we're gonna see how things go first before we expand it, because we are doing everything ourselves.
Right.
It's self-funded, so it's a big investment to now. And we also make sure that the dolls are high quality. We don't try to, good safety levels, all that kind of stuff. So it's gonna take a while before we expand the universe. I think we want the show to be a lot more popular first, before we now start doing that.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And then also, is there a movie coming soon? I'm sorry for putting you on the spot, but I have to.
I don't even know that, because people have said it. No, people have said it, and I was like, really? I'm like, okay. And we got our team of writers, so I wouldn't, because I just saw, first of all, there's a Dora the Explorer movie, and I was like, okay, I get it. Okay, it's possible. So I'm like, okay, cool. It can happen. I think we don't want to, let's say, run before we start walking.
Yes.
But trust me, the universe in my head is like probably more than anybody else wants for this show. Let's put it that way. I want it to be everywhere, in everything, So, if we survive, hopefully we will. The movie will be out. It just takes time. It just takes time.
I'm excited. So when that start coming to fruition, man, please come back and talk about it, support it. Man. I'm there, man.
For sure.
Do private screening, whatever you want to do, but I would definitely want to get the heads up about that, because I think a movie would kind of add to the brand a little bit more. It would add more fans to it on a global, even though you guys are globally, but to add that movie aspect of it, it just adds a new dynamic to it, because now coronavirus, everybody's streaming movies at home, and that gives you home experience. True. And I think doing that movie would just take it to another level.
True. Okay, no, we're on it.
I'm not putting any pressure on you. I'm not putting.
No, it's all good. No problem. It's all good.
But again, I appreciate your time. Thank you, brother. I wish your family much love. Happy Father's Day. I know Father's Day in America is today, but still, I want to wish you a happy Father's Day, man.
When is it? Is it
it's Sunday, the 19th?
Wow. Okay. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. You too, man.
No, I think Sunday the 21st. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, because the 21st is Sunday, so it's the 21st. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. No, thanks. Much appreciated.
All right, brother. Thank you so much, man. Enjoy your day. All right.
Thank you. You take care.